My fiancé proposed to my cousin on my birthday party. They didn't expect what I did next. I never imagined my birthday would become the day my whole world crumbled, and then rebuilt itself stronger than ever. The house was filled with laughter, the kind of warmth only family and friends bring when they gather to celebrate you. I was turning 29, and I thought I had everything I'd ever wanted: a loving fiancé, a supportive family, and a cousin who was more like a sister than anything else. I didn't know the night would end with betrayal so sharp it would leave me breathless, or that I'd find the strength to stand taller than I ever had before. The night began beautifully. My fiancé, Daniel, had insisted on organizing the party. He said he wanted me to feel like a queen for the night, so I trusted him completely. Balloons in my favorite colors floated near the ceiling, fairy lights twinkled along the walls, and my friends from college and work all gathered, cheering as I blew out the candles on my cake. Daniel stood beside me, his arm wrapped firmly around my waist, whispering how beautiful I looked. I believed him. I believed in us. But then, after the cake was cut and laughter filled the air, Daniel cleared his throat and asked everyone to gather around. My heart stopped. I thought he was about to propose to me. My cheeks flushed, and my hands trembled with excitement. Everyone gasped and started pulling out their phones to record the moment. My cousin, Emma, stood close by, clapping her hands like she already knew what was coming. But instead of turning to me, Daniel dropped to one knee, facing Emma. The room went silent. At first, I thought it was some cruel joke. My smile froze on my lips, and my chest tightened so hard I thought I might faint. "Emma," Daniel said, his voice steady and full of adoration, "you're the love of my life. Will you marry me?" Gasps echoed around us, followed by murmurs of disbelief. Emma's hand shot to her mouth as tears filled her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, before throwing herself into his arms. The sound of cheers from a few stunned guests mixed with others' awkward silence. I felt like the ground had opened beneath me. On my birthday, in front of everyone, my fiancé had proposed to my cousin. The betrayal cut deep, but worse than the humiliation was the realization that the two people I trusted most had been hiding this behind my back. I stood there, my body frozen, my cake knife slipping from my fingers and clattering against the table. Every pair of eyes turned to me, waiting for my reaction. I wanted to scream, cry, collapse. But something inside me hardened instead. I stepped forward, my voice calm but sharp enough to silence the room. "Congratulations," I said, forcing a smile that made Emma flinch. What a beautiful surprise, for everyone. My tone carried a weight no one could ignore. Daniel tried to speak, but I held up my hand. "You don't owe me an explanation right now. You've made your choice very clear." Then I turned to the crowd, my family, my friends. My heart pounded, but my voice grew stronger with each word. Tonight was supposed to be my celebration. And in a way, it still is. Because I've just been given the best gift of all, the truth. I know now who belongs in my life, and who doesn't. Gasps rippled again, but this time, I felt control returning to me. Emma's face turned red, Daniel's jaw tightened, but neither dared speak. I lifted my chin. So let's eat, drink, and celebrate, not them, but the fact that life has a way of showing us people's true colors. And trust me, I'll never waste another moment on anyone who doesn't value me. I walked away from them, leaving Daniel and Emma standing awkwardly in the center of the room. My friends and a few family members quickly followed me, wrapping me in comfort, their words full of love and encouragement. Others shook their heads at Daniel, whispering in disbelief. I didn't shed a single tear, not there, not in front of them. Later that night, when the party ended and the house grew quiet, the pain hit me like a tidal wave. I curled up on my bed, sobbing into my pillow until my chest ached. But even then, a tiny flame of pride burned inside me. I hadn't let them see me fall apart. I had stood tall in the moment I was meant to be broken. Days turned into weeks. Daniel tried calling, sending long texts full of excuses, how he had fallen out of love with me, how he and Emma had connected in ways he couldn't explain. Emma tried reaching out too, claiming she never meant to hurt me, that it just happened. I blocked them both. My silence was my answer. Instead, I poured my energy into myself. I started painting again, a hobby I'd abandoned while caught up in the chaos of planning a wedding that would never happen. I joined a yoga class, traveled with friends, and threw myself into my work. Slowly, the ache dulled, replaced by a quiet strength. The betrayal hadn't destroyed me, it had set me free. Months later, I heard Daniel and Emma had eloped. For a moment, bitterness rose in me, but it faded quickly. They deserved each other, and I deserved peace. The truth is, their betrayal was a blessing in disguise. If Daniel could betray me so easily, he never would have made me happy. And if Emma could smile in my face while stealing my future, she was never really my family. The next year, on my 30th birthday, I threw myself another party. This time, it wasn't about grand gestures or picture-perfect moments. It was about love, the kind that came from true friends, supportive family, and, most importantly, from within myself. I stood before the crowd, smiling genuinely this time, and said, "Last year, I thought my world ended. But really, it began." Sometimes life doesn't give us the ending we wanted, but it gives us the beginning we needed. And in that moment, I knew, betrayal hadn't broken me. It had built me.